being shot in the head is not suffering.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back. Today we're responding to an article, well actually a story that's been covered widely internationally, and so many of you guys wanted to hear our response to this.
So we've selected one of the articles. Let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Man apologises for killing and eating pet pig he adopted from SPCA in Canada. Now the SPCA is the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in Canada,
Yep,
which is the equivalent of the RSPCA here in Australia.
Yes, and again, as I said, made international headlines. There was uproar because the man, not that he ate a pig, but because he ate a pet pig.
So let's get into it. The Canadian man who adopted a pig, then ate it, has apologised after animal activists and others reacted with outrage, understandably. The man said he and his partner had received death threats in the wake of the incident, according to a report from CTV News on Tuesday. We've said this before.
Yeah, where are the receipts? Where are
Show us the receipts.
Did he receive death threats? Did someone say, I'm going to come and kill you? Maybe he did, I don't know. Again, we haven't seen the receipts.
But if you remember the story about the British farmer, the young 20-something female British farmer, she fabricated the fact that she had received death threats from vegan activists. That hadn't actually happened at all. They were simply saying, oh, by the way, what you're doing is murdering animals.
Yes.
You're raping animals.
Yeah.
That's not the same as receiving a death threat.
So yeah, again, I think the outrage has come because people are upset that he ate an animal that he had rescued as a pet. It's not the fact that he was eating animals full stop. Certainly, I mean, obviously vegans would be saying the fact that you're eating animals full stop is a problem, but he wasn't just receiving outrage from vegans. He was receiving outrage from the general public who were not all vegans.
The man wrote in a Facebook post that the pig, named Molly, had acted aggressively toward a dog and had attempted to break through a glass door.
Well, that surely deserves having your head chopped off.
I do feel remorse and regret for my actions, and I would like to ask that people stop sending death threats to me and my partner. Again, show us the receipts.
And I'm sure Molly would like that you don't chop her head off as well, but you know,
Exactly.
a little bit too late for your remorse now.
If I could pay a fine to make people feel better, I would. And I feel like the fact that I was not charged is where a lot of the anger is coming from.
No, I think the anger's coming from the fact that you killed an animal. And again, this is so interesting because why are people reacting like this? We innately know that killing an innocent being is wrong. But, you know, it's because he owns this animal and he's named her Molly. He's giving her an identity. And all of a sudden that seems worse than
A faceless piece of bacon on your plate?
Exactly. The billions of other pigs that are killed every single year.
When in actual fact they've all endured the same fate and they all have the ability to feel pain and they all have the ability to suffer. Molly was a 3-year-old pet Vietnamese pot-bellied pig who was nursed back to health at the SPCA in British Columbia. She was seized alongside dozens of other pigs from a property last year. Molly was adopted in January and slaughtered within a month, according to reports.
Wow, only a month. I mean, I read another article where it said that the owners just couldn't care for her anymore. So this is a real wake-up call. If you are going to adopt an animal, then you need to be able to take care of that animal. And if you can't, don't chop their head off and eat them. You know, donate them to another sanctuary or another family or someone else who can take care of them. We don't just eat animals because we can no longer take care of them.
That's
that is
right.
Incredible.
And it's a slap in the face to the activists, no doubt, who were involved in rescuing Molly and her counterparts from a property in the first place that were presumably kept in bad conditions or what have you. And then also the effort and time that went into nursing Molly back to good health. It's just like a
month later,
you know,
we're going to kill her anyway, you know. Yeah.
Molly's fate was apparently discovered after the couple who slaughtered her made posts on Snapchat showing them seasoning and preparing the meat. That doesn't sound like someone who is regretful and remorseful of their actions would do.
It really doesn't, no. I think he's kind of trying to clear his name and make up for his actions.
A lot of backpedaling?
Backpedaling, exactly.
There are no laws against killing a pet in Canada, however, as long as it's done humanely.
Ah, the good old humanely. How do we humanely chop someone's head off if they don't want to die?
When we don't have to.
So let's think about this. If you own an animal and you shoot them in the head, that is considered humane because they didn't suffer? What part of being shot in the head is not suffering? The shooting someone in the head against their will is suffering. It's extraordinary. What are we doing?
That's right. And doesn't humane mean benevolence and kindness? How is shooting someone in the head when they don't want to die benevolent and kind?
The only way we can answer this is we have to put ourselves in the victim's position. If you were Molly, if someone said, I care for you for a month, but now you're kind of an inconvenience, so I'm going to shoot you in the head really quickly, but don't worry, that's humane. Is that good enough for you? If it's not, then it's not humane.
Because animals are considered property under the law, once an adoption agreement is made, that person is the full legal owner of that animal, whether it's a dog or a cat or a pig or whatever. So it should be whoever. You know, we've got to start looking at the language used in these articles, yeah? So the minute the adoption is signed, we lose all legal rights to that animal, said the spokesperson for SPCA. The new person has all legal rights to that animal. The reality is it's not illegal to kill your own animal in Canada. Someone can take a gun and shoot their dog in the head, and as long as the dog dies instantly, unfortunately, there's no law against that.
Wow, so the old, would you do this to your dog, doesn't really stand up in this case, does it? Because of the law. And
this is the issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fact that animals are regarded as property under the law.
Yes.
How do we actually own another living sentient being?
Well, that's slavery, isn't it?
And we abolished that 150 years ago.
For humans.
For humans, to a certain extent. There's still, human slavery that goes on today
There is.
in the animal products industry, in the fishing industry in particular, in Southeast Asia.
Yes.
And many other places in the world.
That's right, but when we're talking about animals, non-human animals, they are still property under the law.
All of them are slaves. We breed billions of slaves into existence every single year for the sole purpose of slitting their throats, chopping their heads off so we can eat their dismembered bodies.
So we can't point our fingers at the lawmakers and the government. This comes down to us as individuals. Why do we need a law, a bit of paper with some writing on it, to say that owning another sentient being is wrong and chopping their head off because basically they no longer suit our lifestyle and they're too difficult to manage is legal or not? That is a moral, a conscious decision that we should be making from our hearts. We should know what's right or wrong. We don't need laws to tell us that.
Yeah.
If we're a civil society,
That's right.
I'm really questioning, are we a civil society?
Definitely
I
not.
don't know.
And just because something is legal doesn't make it moral. They're
That's
not
right.
always synonymous. For example, everything that happened in Nazi Germany was legal.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that we need to change laws. And how do we do that? Well, the thing is, the golden rule is those with the gold make the rules. And those with the gold are the wealthy animal products industry corporations, and they're part of that complex that we always talk about, the financial, legal, military, industrial, meat, medical, pharmaceutical, media complex. So basically, they're not going to change the laws willingly because they have a financial vested interest to keep the laws as they are. The moment animals stop being property under the law, that's animal liberation.
That's
And
right.
they don't want that because they're making money literally off the backs of animals.
Yes.
So we need to, as the consumer, stop buying the animal products. They'll stop producing them, and then there won't be a requirement for animals to be property under the law because nobody's buying the animal products.
That's
so they're not breeding them into existence.
Yes, we have to start acting morally. We have to start acting from a place of justice that we know as individual, civilized human beings, that something is either right or wrong, irrespective of what the law and the people in control are telling us.
That's right. So just as we abolished the right to own humans under the law 150 years ago, we need to abolish the right to own animals. And we do that by stopping buying the products.
That's right. So this story is... It's extraordinary because it highlights so much in our society. It really shows up speciesism.
Definitely.
So 1 minute we're favouring dogs over pigs. Now we're favouring the pigs that we call pets, but forget those other billions of pigs that are slaughtered every year for ham, pork, sausages, bacon, etc. All because we named her and she was rescued. So it just throws in so much for discussion. And I think this is it's a very unfortunate story, obviously, for Molly, but it's a great story in another way because it really brings the issue of animals and eating animals and animal rights and all of these things that we're talking about puts it on the table. It puts it in the international headlines to open up discussion. So that's the, you know, positive side, I guess, to this terrible situation for Molly. And I think it really gets people thinking, because as we've said throughout this video, how many billions of pigs are slaughtered each year needlessly? And they don't have a voice. They're not making international headlines the way Molly is.
So we hope that all the people who are outraged by this story about Molly are equally outraged, or at least thinking about all of Molly's cousins whom they're eating needlessly.
Yeah. Now, just yesterday we were at a pig vigil as part of the Save movement, and we witnessed truck after truck after truck
of Molly's.
Yeah.
Individuals, each and every one of them with their own personalities, their own individual nuances.
Being driven into the slaughterhouse to be gassed, to burn from the inside out, and then to be stabbed in the throat, bleed out, have their heads chopped off, and be served as
bacon,
food.
sausages, pepperoni, salami, sausage rolls, hot dogs.
To people who most likely are outraged about this story of Molly, the pet pig, being killed by her owner.
The point here is all animals are Molly. So if we're outraged about Molly's killing, we should be outraged about the killing of all animals. So we're going to connect you to some of Molly's cousins now, and we really ask you to look into their eyes and see each of them as individuals just like Molly.
And remember,
going vegan is not the most we can do.
It's the least we can do for Molly and every other nameless animal.
We're so scared, guys. So tightly crammed in here. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, sweetheart. Hello, it's okay. Hey, I'm not gonna hurt you. It's alright. I'll show you some love.
Smarter than dogs in this thing.
Sweetheart. So intelligent. That does not look healthy, whatever that is.
Hello. Sorry. I see you and we're trying. I see you and we're trying. I'm sorry. Sorry, sweetheart.
Hey, baby. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, sweetheart.
Sorry. We're sorry. We see you. We see you, my friend. We see you. Sorry.
Why are you doing this?